You're listening to the Talk of the Tribe, Wapsie Valley Warrior Podcast, brought to you by Little Wapsie Communications. Their state-of-the-art fiber network is complete in Fairbank, ready to serve your home or business with the fastest internet in town. Orin Mutual Telephone Company. Serving the area since 1911, Orin Mutual is a modern, independently owned telephone company providing internet and telephone services to Orin, Iowa, and the surrounding rural area. RTC Communications. They are here to provide high-quality, superior service to you, the customer, by offering great customer service and the services you want and need to work and stay connected with family and friends. This is the Talk of the Tribe podcast, coming to you from the center of Warrior Country. Here are your hosts, Zach Favors and Riker Oberly.
Welcome in to episode 14 of the Talk of the Tribe podcast. I'm your host, Zach Favors, and it's been a busy week here. I'm currently just got out of football practice, so I'm here recording. We're here to go on this beautiful Wednesday morning. It's 9:01 this morning as of recording, I should say, and it is Wednesday, October 4th, and man, has it been a busy last few days here, but I don't want to waste much time, but I'm going to say this right now. We're looking, playoff football is almost here. Volleyball's getting towards the end of their season. Cross country's almost done as well. I believe district cross country is in like 15 days. So we're getting to this kind of playoff time. You might see some more coaches. I might try to get Austin Shepard or Dwayne Foster back on here to try to give a recap before we head into their postseason action. And we'll be covering that as long as they are here at home, which I believe football, if they win out, they play BCLUW this Friday at home, and then they head on the road to Nashville Plainfield to go play them. If they win these last two games, they are going to host the playoff game this year. So that will be covered by Riker Oberly. And then if volleyball plays at home this year, obviously me and Riker will be covering that as well. So right away, conference volleyball last night in Grundy Center. It was a battle for Wapsie Valley. They played a really good game against Hudson, won that in 2 sets, and then moved on to go play Grundy Center, second-ranked team in Class 2A, I believe behind Dike New Hartford. So Wapsie did get swept there 2-0 against Grundy Center. So they will be taking on Sumner Fred, Union, and South Hardin in another kind of quadrant there of the backside, kind of the consolation side of the NICL volleyball tournament. So I don't know if Wapsie will be hosting. I doubt it anytime soon, but I really don't know how that's gonna go on. Trying to look at schedules here. All it really says is I believe Grundy Center is gonna host Dike New Hartford tomorrow night, and the game before that will be Appleton Parkersburg versus Denver. So Wapsie Valley Volleyball, they're a really tough grinded out team, and they have their moments, and they're gonna have their moments, but they went up against a really good team. I mean, we're ranked 11th in Class 2A, they're ranked 2nd, so there's a decent difference there. I mean, 9 place rankings is a decent amount, but I think overall, from looking at it, I believe the scores were 25-20 and 25-19. So, I mean, we're right there. I mean, you're 5-6 points away. That's not a big difference, but it really doesn't. We got to figure out how we're going to go about this, because postseason is basically here. I believe they have senior night next Tuesday at home, so against Columbus Catholic. So I'll be there doing that, but I don't know what to say. I'm excited for them to get into the postseason action, and hopefully they're going to make it back to the state tournament again. But this is just such a tough class in Class 2A. I was talking to Blake Boer earlier, probably a few days ago, and we were talking about volleyball, and he goes, I mean, Class 3A is harder than Class 2A to play in. And usually, when you go up a class, the competition gets better because bigger schools, they have more of a pool of kids to choose from. Well, than what the smaller schools have. Because, I mean, Wapsie's Class A. I don't think Wapsie is going to have a real good time playing Southeast Polk on a Friday night. But, you never know. So, it's it's harder to play up a class in Class 2A, and Wapsie's played a lot of Class 3A teams. They've played Union, who is Class 3A, and I'm really struggling to get a handle on this whole conference deal because you have teams that are in 2A playing in the same conference as teams that are in 3A. I don't know how that makes sense, but apparently it does because we switched from a kind of you had a little conference inside your class. So you were in a class, so obviously Wapsie's in Class 2A, and I believe how it used to work is you had just the teams in your area that were in the same class. Or it was kind of structured differently than what it is now. Now it's just the teams that are in your area are in your class. So that's why you have Wapsie playing Union on a Tuesday night. But it's what it is. I don't think they're gonna change it anytime soon. So you just kind of had to deal with the cards you were dealt. So they've done a really good job, and I think they're gonna go a decent. They're gonna go pretty far in the postseason. Wapsie's usually really good at once they get to the postseason, they're in good, perfect condition to make a playoff run. That's something that our teams have been really good at is being kind of those dark horse teams in the playoffs that they're gonna give you a run for your money. Even I mean Wapsie put the number one team in Class A last year almost on upset alert because they were playing their hearts out and they've done that the past who knows how many years. It's been a while. But I mean, Wapsie's not that far off from being a good contender in Class 2A for volleyball. And then as we move into football here, Wapsie played AGWSR last week, last Friday night. I was there, and I apologize if you didn't know what our situation was up there. Basically, it's a very crowded press box. Usually when we go on the road, that's why we don't go on the road a lot. It's because you never know what you're going to get yourself into. Whether it be us at Hudson doing a wrestling meet, literally sitting on the court recording or live streaming, or you're going to go to Western Dubuque and have a great recording kind of little box to yourself. And it gets better in postseason because then they have to make certain things out for the media, but I don't know, you have to work with local radio stations and stuff like that. And so we were sitting in a wider box. It was a bigger box because when you go to AGWSR, it's kind of split. There's like 4 or 5 sections of just press box, and each party has their little own section. So the AGWSR film guy has his own box, the radio stations has their own box, the PA guy has their own box, and then the two coaches, the coaching staffs, have their own box as well. Usually the film guys from their respective schools are in with the coaches in the same box, and that's how it was for us. But it was so crowded up there that you had whoever had the ball, if the offense had the ball or the defense had the ball, the respective coach was up in the window looking out at the field. So, like, if the defense had the ball, Coach Weber was up looking out the window. But if the offense had the ball, Kobe Reese was up looking out the window. And that was because there was not enough space for both of them to stand up there and communicate with each other. And you had Blake Hesse trying to do film for the Huddle sideline cam. And then you also had me and Riker actually trying to do a broadcast so the people can watch it. And they didn't have a Huddle camera, so we had to bring our own camera. And it was just a mess. There was a mess of cords everywhere because you had all the Huddle sideline equipment plus our own broadcasting equipment. It was just a mess, a big mess. And but it was definitely not a mess. There you go. There's your transition. It was definitely not a mess for our football team. They ended up wiping the floor with AGWSR. 55-0 was the final score there. And by golly, man, this team is looking really good heading into the last 2 weeks of this season, for regular season anyway. And they have only had one loss, and that was to Denver. And I bet you now if we were to play Denver again, it would be a lot closer than what it was the second week of the year. So I mean, you're looking at a team that can make some noise in the playoffs. They're ranked sixth currently, I believe, in Class A. I'm gonna fact check myself here. Um, hang on a second. But yeah, I'm looking at yes, Wapsie Valley's ranked sixth right now. They are 5-1 on the year. They have probably one of the easiest schedules in Class A, and I mean, that's something to frown upon, but if you're looking at the team that's currently ahead of us, Lisbon, they have the easiest schedule in Class A football. So it's kind of easy versus easiest, you want to say, or easy versus easier. But I really see this team maybe jumping Lisbon and jumping into that 5 spot by the end of the season. And I was expecting the Nashville Plainfield game to actually be good, but they just lost to South Winneshieks. Nashville Plainfield did, and to be reckoned, or to be fair, I should say, Nashua did not have. I think like their 3 best players. They were out that night because of the complications they're having in Nashua right now. With that whole situation, that's a different story. But it was. I really hope that's going to be a good game because I think it has the potential to be one of the better games in high school football for that week. And something like that is going to get you fired up for playoffs. I mean, they play AGWSR and BCLW, who 2 teams that have really not been good in a long time. But I mean, they're 2 teams that are never gonna give up. Never, 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 never. And most teams are kind of like that. They could be down 30 with 2 minutes left in the fourth quarter. They don't care. They're gonna play it until the last second on that scoreboard. And that's what Wapsie does. I mean, they play to the whistle. The offensive line has really picked up the pace here in the last few weeks. They're looking really good. Kanan Decker does not have to run for his life every Friday night, and the offensive line is actually holding itself together, while also we're incorporating the pass game more. And to be fair, um, I will say the pass game has not really been there the last few weeks. I believe when we went to North Butler, we didn't even complete a pass. But that's aside the point. And the run game has been really good, and we have 2 really good running backs in Hunter Curley and Trayton Sauerbry. Sad that Trayton Sauerbry is going to be gone next year, but I think he's got a fitting replacement in Hunter Curley, and then behind him is Braden Dana, and then behind him is his brother Caden Dana. So you're looking at a team that is going to be good for at least a few years and has the potential to make some noise in the playoffs. And I think there is a possibility here. I'm not counting it out that we don't go to the Dome this year. And that's what we're talking about in practice every day. Is we have to have a Dome quality rep every rep. That's what Coach Sittig always says to us. You have to have a Dome quality rep if you want to make it there. And it's something that a lot of us have really kind of taken to heart, and we're trying to, beat the guy across from you every play. And you're going to win games if you do that. So for us I think the biggest competition we're going to have in the playoffs is probably going to be either St. Ansgard or West Hancock. I think we can hang with them. It's going to come down to the wire if we play them. I don't think there's a possibility that we just get blown out when we play in the playoffs. I don't see that happening, but I really think there's a possibility that we make some noise in the playoffs, and you could see us in the Dome by the time that time comes around. So we're going to do a little bit of a recap here. So the line score for Wapsie Valley versus AGWSR was 21 points in the first quarter, 20 points in the second quarter, and 7 in the third and fourth quarters. So Kanan Decker went 6 for 7, 104 yards through the air, no touchdowns, but had 27 rush yards for a touchdown on the ground. Trayton Sauerbry, 11 attempts, 128 yards, and 4 touchdowns again. I mean, he is just unbelievable. And I think he was giving Riker some crap about him not getting talked to Triathlete of the Week last week when he literally had the game of his life. And I will say, I feel like we gave it to him a little bit early. We probably could have given it to Jake Shore week 1 and saved us the whole Trayton Sauerbrei just becoming Barry Sanders every week. But what are you gonna do? Can't change it now. Ian Bazinski had 3 receptions for 72 yards, and then on defense, Jake Shore again leads the team in tackles, 4.5, and then 3 tackles for loss along with a sack. So, I mean, a very good overall game for Wapsie, and this was kind of a team game. There wasn't a whole lot of individual statistics. It was more of just us playing together as a team, which is what you're going to need when you get to the playoffs. Something that I did want to talk about, Wapsie had 5 turnovers, I believe. Yeah, 5 turnovers. That's crazy. That is something. And 3 of them were interceptions. We had 2 fumble recoveries. And one of the interceptions was a pick 6. Josh Lystico jumped the route. He read that quarterback like a book, and he took that thing straight to the house. And he flew down the sidelines. We were like, gosh, I didn't know Josh was that fast. Because he just left everybody in the dust. And he was moving. And I mean, he had a game last week. He was all over the field. He was played running back for a little while towards the second half of the game. He played some receiver as well, and that's when we started to rotate in some of the guys that don't see much playing time when we're playing those big games, but they're just as important. I mean, they always say you're only as good as your weakest link, and when that last guy is better, it makes the team better because then the team has to be better to match him. You know, if that guy that is, on the varsity, those backup guys, they have to be just as good. If not, they have to push themselves to try to be better than the starters, to try to get that starting spot. And it takes time, it takes work, and it takes effort. And they're doing a great job. This team looks like it's a complete team. They look like they have depth. I want to give a shout out real quick. Briar Bellis. We talked about him so much in the stream. We probably talked about him more in 2 minutes than we did Jake Shore the entire night. Sorry, Jake, but I mean, freshman, student varsity, he got to play varsity. This is, reckon it was in the 4th quarter when it was like 55-0 already. But I mean, can we talk about it for a second? I talked to him in like 3rd hour that day, and he was so nervous about it. And I'm like, you just gotta relax. Let the game come to you. Like, I know anything. Like, I know what I'm talking about. But, just trying to help a friend out. But he said it was probably the most nervous he's ever been in. Or the most nervous situation he's ever been in. And I can't blame him. I mean, you're a freshman playing varsity. I mean, that's crazy. Not a lot of people get to say that. So, and he's one of the guys that gets to say that. And speaking of freshmen, I don't know if we talked about the AP game any. I'm gonna recap it quickly here. Freshmen played AP a few weeks ago. That game was a blast, and it came down to the wire. It was 16-0. I shouldn't say came down to the wire because it really didn't. But it was 16-8 was the final score. I really don't have much to say. The offense kind of died in the second half. We scored 16 points in the first half, didn't score anything in the second half. And then AP scored a touchdown with like 17 seconds left in the game. Yeah, so I mean, it was a good game overall from us, and I think we're looking towards MFL next week, next Tuesday at home. Which, by the way, can we talk about JV scheduling? Holy crap! The last like 4 weeks, it's been game Monday, game Thursday, and now we have a game on Monday and then a game the next day on Tuesday. Gosh. For somebody like me or JJ, a lot of the skill guys, Hayden Ryard, I mean, even a lot of the freshmen play on JV. And I mean, I know JJ and I start on the offensive line for JV, and we have to play an entire JV game and then turn around the next day and play a freshman game. And I mean, I'm not gonna be able to walk on Wednesday, but it'll be worth it for sure. But yeah, JV went up to play AGWSR Monday night. That game was just about the same as the varsity. Now we didn't beat them 55-0. We beat them 50-14. And yeah, it was, I don't know. There was a lot of turnovers. And I will say this is kind of how the second half went. You want to know how the start of the second half went? Kickoff, they fumbled the kickoff, and then I believe Carter Kaufman picked it up and just ran it straight for a touchdown. So then we go back, kick it off again. They recover it, finally. They go down at like the 4-yard line, something like that. The very next play, they fumble a snap or a handoff or something, and Tanner Bergman picks it up and runs it straight in the end zone for a touchdown. And I'm like, okay, well, there's 16 points right away, or 14 points. I think we missed the 2 point right after, but 14 points right away. We go back out, kick it off again. We come back out. They run like 3 plays and then throw a pick. So Caden Dana with the interception on that one. But it's like, what is happening? And then because they had so many fumbles. It was crazy how many fumbles they had. It was like it's not even raining. Why are you fumbling so much? Because they had like 5, 6 fumbles on just snaps, and then handoffs, and it was crazy. Or even when the players were running the ball, they get the ball punched out, and they recovered 2 of them. And I will say we did have our fair share of fumbles. I believe we had 3, and it's like there's no rain. Like, it's not raining. If it was raining, then yeah, it makes sense. I've played in the rain before as a center. It sucks. It's not fun to play in the rain as a center, but you can't really do anything about it. You just kind of have to figure it out, snap the ball. But usually they have towels, so the ball stays dry for the most part anyway. Maybe towards like the fourth quarter, it is not dry anymore. But yeah, I don't know what to say. I think we're just looking towards BCLUW right now. The freshmen will play MFL Marmac next Tuesday. JV plays BCLUW the day before. And then varsity plays BCLUW this Friday night at home. And I believe it is senior night. Actually, yes, it is senior night this week. So it's the last one at home for the seniors. I shouldn't say the last one because we're going to host a playoff game if we win these next 2, which we should. But it's the last regular season home game for the seniors. So they congrats to them. They've had a good career here at Wapsie Valley, but they're not done yet. They still got 3, 4, maybe 5, 6 weeks left in the season. So hopefully 6 weeks left in the season if we go to the dome. So I think for Wapsie, it's just we got to get past the quarterfinals. Usually, like I said, I talked to Blake a lot, and he said it used to be we couldn't get out of the second round. But now it's like we can't get out of the quarterfinals. I think we've made the quarterfinals the last 3, 4 years and haven't made it to the dome once. I think we're 0-5 in quarterfinals games in the last 5, 6 years. So it's not fun, but hopefully we can make it to the dome this year and get past that quarterfinal round. So I've heard a lot of things saying that you guys want a face cam. You guys want to see us when we do these podcasts. And obviously, if you haven't heard his voice yet, Riker's not here today. I try to leave it out because it's not his fault. Half the time, it's really not. I mean, today he had a dentist appointment, he's got chiropractor, he's got doctor's appointments, like, whatever. It's Wednesday. We don't have school today. If you didn't know, first Wednesday of the month, we don't have school. So I can see why you put all of your appointments on a Wednesday when we don't have school. It makes sense. But I was like, I just got here at practice. I'm like, we haven't had an episode up this week yet, so I might as well just come in and do one quick and get it out for you guys to watch today. So I think yeah, he's gonna be back next week. He should be anyways. If he's not, then we got some issues. And then we're working on episode 15. That should be up this weekend, hopefully. Hopefully this weekend. If not, it'll be the start of next week, probably Monday, Tuesday of next week. And that one will be a non-sports episode. You won't see another sports recap till episode 16 comes out, which will probably be next through the midweek, Wednesday, Thursday ish. But we have a little bit of time left, so talk of the Tribe Athlete of the Week this week. We've got some candidates. Obviously, Trayton Sauerbrey's in there. I want to throw Josh Leistico in there as well. He's been phenomenal. He played a phenomenal game at AGWSR. I'm gonna throw Taylor Boer in there as well. By the way, if you didn't know, Wapsie Valley leads Class 2A in assists. Or sorry, not Class 2A, the whole state in assists. So that's pretty good. We're looking towards obviously playoff volleyball here as well. I'm trying to look up stats quick so I know who to pick here. I'm trying to figure out who I really want to pick for Athlete of the Week this week. I'm going to look at some stats quick. Alright, here we go. We got some volleyball stats. So, Taylor Boer, she's got basically 300 kills on the year, 296. And we talked about this. There's a real chance she hits. We talked about it. There was kind of something we talked about on the way to, or way back home from AGWSR was, is there a possibility that she gets to 1,500 kills? And there is. There's a real chance. It's not undeniable. I mean, there's a chance that it does happen. I'm gonna look at here. So Taylor Boer had 4.5 kills. I'm surprised they do half kills. I didn't know that. 4.5 kills against Hudson, and then we'll look at the Grundy Center game here. That's here. Okay, so this was Grundy Center. She didn't even lead in kills. Anna Curley led in kills with 2.5. And they only had 13 kills that entire game. And I know it adds up over time. You're looking at it, and I know when they play 5, there's a lot more quantity of kills, especially when you play 5 sets instead of 3. So, and usually they don't even play 3 if you beat them in 2. So, I really don't think I really want to give it to Taylor at some point because we haven't yet, and I've given it to basically everybody else, just not a volleyball player yet. But I don't think I really can when you have to look at what everybody else is doing. I mean, I'm looking at cross country runners. Jalen May, she's led the Wapsie Valley girls cross country team the last 5 meets. It seems to be. Aiden Shannon has done a phenomenal job switching from football to cross country as well. Trayton Sauerbrey, 4 touchdowns a game. I mean, what do you want to say? And then Josh Leistico with the pick 6, and he had a phenomenal night against AGWSR. In fact, I'm going to look at this quick because I want to know if Josh Leistico really can really contend here. I'm going to look at this quick. Football. Okay. So Josh Leistico has he's 3 carries for 7 yards. He doesn't have a touchdown. But on defense, he's really good when it comes to defense. He has 19 solo tackles for 1.5 sacks. He has 4 tackles for losses, so 26.5 total tackles. He is the leading tackler that is not a defensive lineman. I guess Tucker Latterberg beats him by a tackle and a half, and he's a linebacker. Like, think about it. Josh Leistico plays cornerback, and he leads tacklers that are not defensive linemen, and he's 1.5 tackles behind Tucker Latterberg, who's a linebacker. So I don't know what to say. I'm gonna give it to Josh Leistico. Josh Leistico, talk of the Tribe Athlete of the Week. If you want to throw a runner-up in there, it's probably either Trayton Sauerbright or Jalen May for a runner-up. No one's beaten Trayton's streak yet. He's got like 3-4 in a row. So I'm waiting for either like somebody like Jalen May or Aiden Shannon to beat the streak here. Maybe if they have a good showing at districts, they'll get a Talk of the Tribe Athlete of the Week to push their counters up to 2 because they both have 1 currently. But I'm gonna give it to Josh Lystico. The pick 6 was crazy. I was watching it and it was I couldn't even get the camera turned because it happened so fast. And he just flew down the sideline. And I'm like, what happened? you just blink and it's over. Oh, it's over. The play's over. But yeah, Talk of the Tribe Athlete of the Week this week is Josh Lystico. I'm gonna get into the screen time quick before I sign off here. So I might text Riker and see what his screen time is. I should have done that at the start of the episode, so I have it. In fact, I'm gonna do this right now. Hopefully he responds to me before we get done. Alrighty, there we go. So we're waiting for Rikers. I'm gonna give you my screen time real quick. 4 hours and 1 minute for me. Yeah, not that high. I had a football game that day, so like that whole 6 p.m. to like 11 p.m. was just not. I didn't have screen time because I wasn't on my phone. So yeah, I'm hoping for Riker to text me back quick here, but he might be in a doctor's appointment. But there you have it. Talk of the Tribe. I want to give one final shout out. I forgot to do this in the beginning of the episode. Bubba Seaman, the What Is Up podcast. Go listen to it. It's a great podcast. They've had Bubba just has great conversations with people. He's a great talker. Overall, just a really great guy. And he's had Scott Broughton. He's had Ryan Peterson, and then he's had Dustin Cooch or Cooch. I don't know how you pronounce that. Hopefully, or Dustin Cook maybe. Yeah, I don't know names, but go listen to his podcast. It's really good. The What Is Up podcast. He gives us shout outs all the time, and I've just kind of forgotten to the last few weeks. Yeah, go listen to his podcast. He's done a great job of starting it. Now, he did ask me for a lot of tips. I don't like to take credit for that because I'm not the guy you should be asking tips for on how to start a podcast. But there you have it. Talk of the Tribe podcast, episode 14. I think that's all for us. I don't think Riker's not going to text me back, so I'm not even going to worry about it. We're just going to imagine and say it was like 10 hours or something because that's probably what it is. So we thank you for listening to Talk of the Tribe, episode 14. We're getting into conference volleyball and then week 7 football. Next week it'll be week 8 football, the recap of BCLUW, and then playoff football is in 2 weeks, and I'm so excited for playoff football. Playoff football in high school is a time to be alive. So we thank you for listening. Talk the Tribe podcast, episode 14. As always, I'm Zach Babers, and until next time, go Warriors.